the fact that Charlotte, having lost a bunch of matches in a row now, between Bayley and this and tag matches and pay-per-views, that she was going to be leaving to go to SmackDown with these moves, which we'll get to that later, but that is what ended up happening. So I think that just kind of set that up, which is, I guess that's what their end result was, and they just played it, as for, like, she's leaving the show, and, so she doesn't need to be, they can beat her a couple of times on the way out. So that was pretty much that.
She's been doing the JOB. What do you feel about Nia Jax and her not, her uneasiness in the ring, I could say?
I don't know. It's not like she's horrible, I think. I don't think she's terrible. She's not, like, obviously on the top level or top half of the wrestlers that they have as far as the women are concerned. But, again, if I look back to how women's wrestling was maybe, like, I don't know, 15 years ago or something, like, or maybe a little bit longer than that, it was atrocious, right? There was a lot of stuff going on. Like, the women weren't trained properly and they couldn't really do anything. So
right.
Compared to that, she's not that bad. But as far as some of the women they have now, she's not the smoothest, but she's still a little green. Like, I was surprised she even came up from NXT in the draft last year. I thought she was going to stay down there for a little bit longer and probably should have. But it is what it is. It's not like she's embarrassingly bad or anything like that.
I just hope she's a little bit safer for the sake of everybody. Speaking of,
what's going on there?
I couldn't tell you, man. It's weird that your phone.
Somebody ring my doorbell?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh, that's weird.
Speaking of people being safe, it was nice seeing Finn Balor for the 10 days we saw him. Now he's going to be back on the IR for a little while due to a very angry, very aesthetically enhanced Jinder Mahal's right elbow. The match was fine for what it was. It was less than 3 minutes. It was important to get Finn Balor a win, but in doing so, the man almost died in the ring. Jinder hit Finn with a right elbow. Finn bounced off the ropes. It looked like he wasn't expecting that spot. I watched it a couple times. And when I tell you the man was out and he hit Balor so hard with this right elbow that Balor did a 180 and then face planted on the ground, and he hit face first. He was completely out, and the ground woke him up. It was a tough spot if you're either guy. Of course, obviously now Balor's going to have to go through concussion protocols, what I'm hearing. They said at least 2 weeks, right?
I didn't hear the length of time, but I think concussion protocol or whatever it is what I heard that he was going to have to go to, because like you said, it looked like he was
clean out. Yeah, we both said the same thing. I've seen guys get knocked out. I've been watching MMA for as long as I can remember. I've been hit and I've hit people, and watching Balor go down was scary. A faceplant, you can't. Nobody sells that well. You can't sell a right hand to the face where you turn around and eat doo doo. And after the match, when he was looking at the camera, you saw his eyes were glazed over and he wasn't there. So hopefully we get Balor back sooner rather than later, and Jinder stays out of the ring for a little while.
Yeah,
just don't want him to be hindered.
The other thing, I guess, with relation to this was after this match ended, Bray Wyatt, who is another now switch over from SmackDown to Raw, appeared on the big screen and cut a promo. I guess essentially, starting a feud with Finn Balor at some point here. Again, the weird part about that all is, and we can get into it a little bit more deeper when we talk about the results of the Superstar Shakeup, but he's still having his match with Randy Orton, a rematch for the WWE title, in this House of Horrors match, which apparently they don't even know what that is yet, from what I've been reading.
It's like the Ambrose Asylum?
Apparently they don't know. Like, they don't know.
Really?
Yeah, apparently they don't know what the specifics are behind it. But they're actually going to continue to have this match, which is now a Raw wrestler versus a SmackDown wrestler for a title that's on the SmackDown brand, and they're having it on a Raw branded pay-per-view. So hopefully that made sense, what I just said, but I don't know that it does. So that's that. We'll see. I don't expect Bray to win the title back, especially not now. And we'll see how long Balor is going to be out, and if this feud is now put on hold because of the concussion.
So Bray's definitely not going to win that match. It's fair to say, right?
I wouldn't think so.
And talk about starting the guy off on the brand on the wrong foot. He lost against Randy Orton at WrestleMania. Did he lose again after that? Or no, that was his last match.
That was the last match.
That was the last match, and now he's going to lose it to Randy Orton again. And then all of a sudden we're going to want to care about him and Finn Balor? This is what you were kind of saying this the other day. You're done with Bray Wyatt.
He's cold.
Yeah.
He's cold.
Ice cold. Yeah. He's comatose cold.
They had something good going with him and the whole Wyatt family thing with him and Harper and Orton, I thought, on SmackDown, right? There was kind of like that, you know who was going to turn on who, and then Harper ended up leaving, so then it was him and Orton, and then eventually Orton turned on him. And
I think that had some more legs than they gave it, too. That could have been a lot longer.
Yeah, I thought they should have definitely drawn it out as well. But then they rushed through it, like you said, and the Matchmania was kind of dead. It was kind of dull, right?
Randy burned his house down. Out of nowhere. Yeah,
arson. And so Bray had the title for like 6 weeks, and then he lost the Matchmania cleanly. There wasn't a whole lot of good stuff there, and like now he's just switched over to a different show, and he's gonna have a House of Horrors match. So I guess that's
lose his own match.
Yeah,
and then
I don't know, man.
Speaking of losing your heat, Miz versus Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn, correct me if I'm wrong, is the underdog from the underground, right?
My understanding.
Okay. Kurt Angle's obviously a big fan of him. Kurt Angle said he wasn't going anywhere. He should go out and kind of prove himself. Sami Zayn comes out, wrestles The Miz, wins with a roll-up, which is fine. However, Sami Zayn goes to SmackDown anyway. Everybody else is doing their part in leaving. They're putting the other guy over, going to the other brand. The Miz, who got castrated at WrestleMania, and then afterwards was punked out by Nakamura, now comes over to Raw, cuts a promo, gets punked out by Dean Ambrose, and then loses to Sami Zayn. And he was one of the hottest parts of SmackDown.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit confused as to why they would do that to The Miz. He's really gotten himself over.
I don't know. You know what was funny? The ending of this match looked like it was messed up to me. I didn't know if it was when he counted the pin on the roll up. It almost looked like Miz was kicking out, and the referee had counted to 3 anyway. So I know like that. Well, from what I hear, that the referees are instructed to call the match almost like as a shoot. So if the guy doesn't kick out, you count the pinfall. So I was almost wondering if they screwed up the end, and I don't know that they did or didn't. I haven't read anything to that fact. I was just an observation of watching it where like Miz kicked out literally as he was about to hit 3. So my thought was that maybe he was trying to make the kick out too fine and too close, and the referee just counted 3 because he didn't kick out at the 2.5. And I don't know, maybe it was a mistake. I really don't know. Because Miz seemed pretty upset after the match was over. But I don't know if that was the case or not. Because if that was the case, then it's, all right, I could see like they were going to have Miz win and they just botched the finish, and like that's one thing. But I don't know why they would have Zayn beat Miz on his first night in. I don't know what their plans are for Miz on Raw, like as far as his first feud is concerned. I would hope it's not with Ambrose again, because they just kind of did that on SmackDown.
Yeah, then why would you bother bringing him over? Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess maybe they have something in mind for him to do on Raw. I hope that they do, since they brought him over. But
I didn't notice that. I'm going to go back and watch it. I thought it was just he kicked out to give it that was a surprise feel. But if it was that close, I would have. That may
have been it. I mean, I just the way that it came off, I was like, it was surprising to me that he would lose. So like you said, so.
Well, this was your most favorite segment in the history of Raw. So why don't you go ahead and tell us what happened next?
That seems like hyperbole, but I
have to look that up.
I'll go through this if you want to look it up. Yeah, you go. Roman Reigns had a sit-down interview with Michael Cole.
How do you spell it? Is there a J?
There's a silent Z. Roman Reigns had a sit-down interview with Michael Cole. It didn't really get very far. It was talking about his win over The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Like I said, did not get very far until Braun Strowman arrived and beat the tar out of Roman Reigns for quite a while.
Beat the dickens out of him, Joe.
Yes, that as well. He tossed him. They were in the backstage area. He tossed him through a table. He slammed him into a garage door. He body slammed him on like a production cart or some crates, things of that nature. He then crushed him while his head was up against the wall with a rolling crate. That was another spot, which would probably kill most people, but not Roman. So anyway, the EMTs show up and they put him on a stretcher, and they try to get him off into an ambulance. And Braun was not done, and he decided to take said stretcher and roll him off of like a loading dock onto the ground. It looked like. Did you ever see?
Probably.
Was it the first? Is it the first Naked Gun movie? Is that the one? What's the one where you ever see the Naked Gun movies?
Are you doing with the wheelchair?
Yeah, when he goes in the wheelchair, he's bumping down the steps, and then he just flips out.
Is that the first one?
I don't know.
When they're running the bases.
Yeah, where he's at the baseball game. Yeah, so that's what it reminded me of when he tossed the stretcher on the ground. You saw it like hit the ground and then like go face first onto the concrete, which I obviously again like he would be dead if that really happened.
Except for Rey Mysterio, who took that bump against Big Show.
That was awesome. Pretty bad. So anyway, he did that. Finally, they get him into the ambulance. They get Roman Reigns into the ambulance, and of course, then Braun shows up one more time and tips over the ambulance on his own, which is, again, I'm pretty sure not physically possible for a human being to do.
No.
But, so they did that. And that was the end of the segment. So, I guess, I don't know if he got charged with attempted murder. I'm not sure. I didn't read that in any police report. But it was a pretty righteous beatdown of Roman Reigns, who apparently has like a shoulder and some rib issues out of the whole thing. I
think he had broken something. Yeah, I saw a little bit. Also, there's a fan that started a petition to get Braun fired. Did you see this?
I did see that.
That fan was me, Joe.
That was you?
The petition. I did. I feel like it was a little too strong in this PG era.
Wow. Okay.
So here's hoping Roman gets better, and we're going to miss him on Raw. I thought the beatdown was awesome, but you're not doing any favors for Roman at all.
Explain this to me, actually, because you mentioned this to me the other day. Give me some detail on this.
Okay. So, Roman Reigns last week, to me, was he got the most reaction he's ever gotten. He was like the $1 million man. He was a perfect heel. He was the perfect heel last week, and he had the fans literally eating out of the palm of his hand. He cut a promo. He was in the ring for maybe 6-7 minutes, and all he said was, "This is my yard now." He was a badass who cut the perfect promo. It was that walk the line heel face promo. You're not sure really what he is, and you could have taken it either way, and it didn't matter if he was cheered or not. That's really what we got last week. And now this week, you bury him in a beatdown to try to get him the babyface pop that you're hoping he'll get against A, one of the most over guys in the show, and B, in probably one of the coolest segments in a long time. So you're setting him up for failure in every single turn this week, and I feel like he's so far beyond repair to come back that I'm not even sure a Shield reunion would help him get back over. Those are my thoughts.
Okay.
I'm the enforcer. You disagree, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the most part.
Yeah.
Let's go back one thing. Before the perfect promo, is that what you mentioned?
Yeah.
He said one line.
Yeah, the perfect segment.
Okay. So yeah, I don't know about that. The promo, I know people were praising him for controlling the crowd, but he kind of just stood there and said one sentence and then left. So I don't know if that's really him more than anything. It was just the crowd was obviously pretty raucous at the whole situation with him and Undertaker, and that's what it was. I don't see this as him being buried at all. I don't see where this is a burial of Roman Reigns. He just got beat up.
You're burying his character. You're not burying him to the point where he's going to be on the opening match. You're burying his chances of getting back to the reaction that you want him to get.
But like I say, you just said though before with the promo that he had the week before that you didn't know which way he was going to go, whether he was good or bad or all this type of stuff. So if that's the intent of that segment was to have him toe the line of, not sure if he's heel or face or tweener or he's being a little arrogant or whatever it is, then how are they ruining his character here if they're now expecting him to be a babyface off of this segment?
Right, because now you're trying to get him the sympathy from the crowd in a situation in which he's not going to get sympathy from anybody. That's if this was, for example, if this was a Seth Rollins who got beat up, if this was a Sami Zayn who got beat up, if this was any of the faces that people actually get behind and do not boo to living death, it would have been a different situation because you would feel sympathetic for them. This became a parody of itself once Braun came back for the 8th time and fans were literally jumping out of the arena. For example, when Kane beat the hell out of Zack Ryder, people were booing Kane because Zack Ryder was a sympathetic figure that people actually liked. The same cannot be said for Roman Reigns.
Yeah, but I guess I just don't see Roman is never going to get sympathy from the fans, like he never has. So
Right.
I just think it was a sneak attack beat down from Braun